and welcome to this week's episode of Unconditional Self-Love with myself, Tilly Reid. I hope you are well. I'm doing really well actually at the moment because I think it's because I've just been on annual leave for a week. Yeah, you know what it's like. You've been off for a week, you're just like, so chill. I'm relaxed. I've taken the time to actually properly chill, which I think has done me wonders. And I've seen friends, just been away for a few nights with a friend. And yeah, so I feel quite refreshed. I think sometimes, I'm guilty of this, is having some annual leave and then just packing in all the things that you want to do and you want to go to these places. And don't get me wrong, they are so fun. Going away, trips out, I won't stop doing them, but I do think it is also important to have those days where you kind of do not much. Like today, I put a bit of a washing on. Had a bit of a chill. I watched a film. I'm recording this as well. But this is chill. So yeah, so just remember, if you're having time off, to make sure you're having time off as well, because yeah, it just sorts me right out. But what am I going to talk about today? Food. I mean, there's so much to say about food. There is, it's everywhere. It is absolutely everywhere. Obviously it's something we have to do to survive, from when we are born to when the day we die, we have to eat. And there is just an abundance of food everywhere. It's in all pubs, it's in petrol stations. I mean, yeah, obviously people buy snacks, but it's just like, I just want to get petrol. Like, why am I surrounded by all this usually crap food? But that's the world we are living in, where we can get literally anything delivered to our door at a cost. I mean, it's great. I mean, it's absolutely wonderful, but also maybe convenience isn't the right thing. But I'm not going to go on about that. I'm just gonna chat about food and like my own personal relationship with food and how that has changed and evolved over the years. It can be this real emotional thing for people, and to where I've got to now, and just a few things that I do to help myself eat healthy, because I think I eat healthy. I think there's always things I could do better, but I think that's for most people as well. But I'll get to that bit at the end. But from what I can remember, when I was young, I was born, because my dad was in the forces, I was born in Germany. I don't remember us ever getting takeouts. I think we might have done. I remember it was just my mum cooking dinners, and that was it. And it would be meat or some kind of potatoes or veg. It was very simple, home-cooked foods, I remember obviously going to holidays. We always used to go on holidays to France. And I remember me and my dad would walk to like the supermarkets and go and get a massive baguette. I mean, if you've ever been to France, I don't know what they do with their baguettes, but they are just heaven. I mean, me and my dad would buy them, and then on the way home, we just gnawing away at the ends of them. Just trying not to eat the entire thing before we got back, because then we'd obviously put some butter on them and then eat them with whatever we were having that night. I remember the pizzas being amazing. I remember them bringing those super thin but then puffy on the sides pizzas, and just, they were absolutely delicious. So I ate very well as a child. I don't really remember having that much of a sweet tooth. I know that there's definitely pictures of me eating birthday cake. I mean, most people had a cake on their birthday, but I don't remember there being lots of sweets and cakes around. I don't think my family particularly eats a lot of that. So I was really lucky in the sense that I was brought up, with these home cooked meals, and not very many. If I don't remember takeouts, for most of my childhood, I remember that. And maybe that's the case for most people my age. We did grow up in a time where there wasn't a whatever fast food joint at every corner. I mean, they're everywhere. I mean, where I live now, there's, I don't even know how many, probably about 4, I think. I mean, it's not a particularly massive city, but, there's just 4 McDonald's, and there's just, it is everywhere now. And it's so tempting, and it makes it nice and cheap. But I think not growing up with that, that was like a treat. I think I do remember us maybe having fish and chips. You do, don't you? You have fish and chips sometimes. That's like a little treat. But I don't remember any other kind of treats being that often. I remember getting nuts at Christmas that we had to crack. Like, it took ages to be able to sit there cracking nuts. Like, oh God. I mean, I wouldn't even do that now. I do buy normal packs of nuts that have already been cracked. But that was what we did. I remember when I was younger as well, I didn't used to like custard. That wasn't my thing. And my mum this is a very 80s, probably 80s dish, isn't it? Of trifle. You remember the trifles with the jelly with the fruit pieces in it, and then the cold custard, and then the cream on top? Yes, my mum used to make those, but then she had to make a separate one for me without the custard in it. So it would just literally be jelly and cream, because I wouldn't eat the custard. I still, to this day, I'm not a massive fan, but I'd eat it hot if I had to. And another favourite meal of my childhood was my Nana Pem. It was my mum's mum made the most incredible pies. Oh, and she's not with us now, and God, I wish I'd got that recipe, because those pies were incredible. She used to make apple, and what was the one? I can't remember now. They were just like meat and potato pies. I don't know what she did to the pastry, but they were amazing. Like, yeah, I remember every time she used to visit my parents' house, we'd be like, right, here's all the ingredients, make some pies. And everyone would get their orders in for the family, being like, get the pies in. And we'd have them for the rest of the week, or you could just freeze them. They were incredible, like really, really tasty. Lots of like yummy home cooked meals. And I'm sure they were probably full of things that, maybe we weren't supposed to be eating, lots of butter and all that lot. But, tasted bloomin' marvellous. But my mum was never too adventurous. She never sort of swayed from the sort of the basic veg, if I call it that, the typical veg. We never sort of went outside, it was very much like simple food, not she wasn't really keen on any sort of sauces, nothing like that. It was very, very basic meat. She did a roast. I mean, I do think that everyone thinks that their family does the best roast. But yes, my mum does the best roast potatoes. They're outstanding. And now I've learned how to do roast potatoes because of it. And I've also learned how to do amazing Yorkshire puddings because of it. Because she taught me all the tricks, which I'm not going to go into now. Everyone, you can watch cooking programs for that. But once you get that, and once you cook your first Yorkshire pudding and you see it rise in the oven, it's a real sense of achievement. So that was basically what I grew up with, was just home cooked food, simple home cooked food, which was great. Then we sort of get into my teenage years. You start to see other things around you. I was at school. I was surrounded by other children wanting to, or teenagers, I should say, wanting to eat other things. I remember going to youth club. Yes, I'm that old. Youth clubs were still a thing. And, and there was like a tuck shop. You go and buy sweets and I don't even remember now, probably sweets and crisps and all sorts of things and those sherbet dip things. I remember I liked them. They were quite fun. Where you put the lollipop in and you'd come out with all the sherbet on it. Oh, yeah. And the flying saucers. Yeah, I mean, I could go on and about, sweets, but this is probably where I got a bit of a sweet tooth. I think a lot of teenagers do, it's just there. I remember us leaving school sometimes to go to there was like a local shop that was near the school and we used to go in there sometimes on the way home and like grab things and just scoff them on the way home before we got home. I remember then I got a bit older and I was at sixth form, and where we were in the sixth form room, we were right near the canteen. And my dad used to make me sandwiches. It was a bit different, I think. My dad making me sandwiches, not my mum, but my dad made the best sandwiches. So he used to make me sandwiches every day. And so I'd have a pack up, but I would also eat whatever was in the canteen. So if there was sausage rolls or slices of pizza, I'm having it. And my packed lunch. I had both. Oh, I loved it. Yeah. I was dancing quite a lot at this time. I was probably dancing about 3 times a week. And I had one of those annoying constitutions where I could eat pretty much anything and I didn't put weight on. So I was one of those lucky few. Even when puberty hit, my period started, didn't massively change my body. I was so lucky on that front. But I do remember sort of going through that sort of age, the 90s, and I do remember these images of these highly skinny models, and Kate Moss was a thing, this cocaine chic was a thing, to look like really skinny. I remember, I think it might have been Kate Moss that said this. She said something like, "Nothing tastes as good as skinny feels." I mean, what? Like, that was just the 90s, like literally in a package. It was like, you need to be really skinny. We need to kind of see your bones, but you also need to be like, it was the era of, the Spice Girls came along and the ladette, and you could go out, the girls could do what the lads did and they could go out drinking and partying. And yeah, it was the era where I was into football. I mean, I got into football quite a lot in my late teens, early 20s. Yeah, I thought this is cool. This is what the cool people did. And yeah, my diet probably wasn't great, but I was still living at home. So I was still having those home-cooked meals, So there was still a really good basis for me. And I think there was definitely points, I think, when I moved out and suddenly I was like, I can eat whatever I want. Oh, wow. A packet of mini cheddars for breakfast? Yes, please. I don't know. I don't know what I was eating. It was usually stuff that you could just shove in an oven. Do you know what I mean? Things that you could just put in an oven and go, there you go, it's done now. I don't remember having a very interesting palate. I liked food, but I was like, not massively into it. I think I got into food it was one of those things that was really gradual with me. I sort of wanted to try different foods. I was always interested in trying different foods when I went abroad. And I remember when I went to Malaysia, randomly in Malaysia was where the first time I tried snails. I know. Not in France, although I have eaten them in France. It was a French restaurant in Malaysia. And they had snails. And I was like, I really want to try these. I'm going to try them. So I was always really interested in trying, I'm always interested in trying the food of the countries that I've traveled to. I've been to China and eaten some amazing food over there, the Peking duck and just all sorts of just stunning food. And, I ate frog's legs in France. I've tried been to Greece, all the amazing food in Greece you get. So I sort of started to be keen in that way, trying things when I was out and about in restaurants. But my sort of own cooking wasn't up to scratch. And I think it was this gradual thing of when I started living on my own and I got a job and I was properly cooking for myself that I was like, oh, okay, what goes with what? Like, what is this? Just sort of gradually learning about things. Like my friend, like, this was years ago, obviously, was just like, hey, have you had pesto? I was like, what is pesto? It's just basil, pine nuts, oil, like you just put it in pasta and it tastes amazing. Oh my God, it really does. It's been a staple probably since then. It is amazing. It's just an really easy go-to, isn't it? Pasta and pesto. I mean, you can't go wrong. But I do also think that going through stages of not having a lot of money, I got better at cooking because I wanted things to taste good still. I was like, well, how can I make this better? How can I make this better than it could be with like learning about like flavors and how to make things cheaply, but also sort of starting to incorporate healthy things into there, but not quite, and learning about things. I remember living with my friend who's really into cooking. Like he is just an amazing cook. And I remember living with him, and then I learn't a lot that way because I remember watching him he was making a lasagna and he made his own like white sauce. And I was like, what? You didn't get it out of a jar? No. No, he made his white sauce. And I was like, oh wow. So that was another sort of steep learning curve. And sort of since then, it's sort of gone and progressed, and I've started to get more confident. I always like to cook things from scratch. I tend to just go around the supermarket buying lots of veg, different variety of veg. I usually have some sort of bases like the rice, the pastas, the noodles, the couscous, whatever sort of bases you could have. And then I have a bunch of sort of spices and other things that I could sort of have with it. And then it's sort of a mix match thing situation going on where I'm like, oh, what do I fancy today? Oh, yeah, okay, I'll fancy some pasta and pesto, but I'll add a load of veg with it. I'll chop up all this veg and put it in the pan. And it's become one of these really meditative things for me now, to get all the veg out, chop it all up, cook it in the pan, and just eat it. And I love doing it. And, part of me is always like, oh, why don't you batch cook a lot? That would make things a lot easier. And sometimes I do, but more than often I don't, because I actually do really like the process of every evening going, okay, well, what do I want to eat? Okay, I fancy that. Okay, yeah, what do I need? Then getting it all out, laying it all out on the side, prepping it, and basically cooking it. I just love food. I still love to eat out and try different foods. I've just been on holiday, as you know, and I am friends with foodies. Like, yeah, I am definitely friends with other foodies, which is a great thing because you go away and you're like, right, where are we going to eat tonight? Like that is like one of the main things. It's like, okay. And we basically went to, I can't remember, one of the sites that had them in order. This is number one. We were like, right, we'll go there. The first night we went to that place. And then the second night we went to the second one. So it just kind of worked out. We were only there 3 nights, which is kind of a shame because there were some really nice places to eat. But yeah, got to try some very tasty food. I mean, that's always great when you go on holiday, isn't it? That's always one of the perks for me is like I want the money to be able to spend it on good food when I'm away. That is a non-negotiable. I'm going to spend it on good food. And I love going out for meals with friends. There's obviously some fantastic restaurants where I live. And, I like nothing better than meeting up with friends than just enjoying food together. It's the best. And, I'm really keen to learn more about it and how to be healthier in sort of different ways. I'm not going to sit here and spout like, oh, this diet, that diet. No. For me, I love good food. I love learning about little things that I can do just to make it a little bit healthier. Just to make it a little bit healthier as I sort of go through my life, because ultimately food is life. And I want it to see me through into an old age, but still be healthy in that old age. I don't want to be, touching wood here, if I can help it. I want to be fit and healthy into my old age. And I know that, all the things, we know the things, don't we? Exercise, diet, sleep, and obviously other things, but they're the main ones. So, I think it's something that you can have a massive control over. Food, it's literally something that you put in your body to fuel yourself for the day after, and for the rest of your life. So for me, it is that I'm putting that into my system. It's like a little savings account. I'm putting in all these nutrients now that are hopefully going to see me through, and I'm just really interested. I love listening to other podcasts about health and, learning all about it. So I'm going to finish just with a few tips. And these are just little tips that I've sort of done. I do sometimes, I don't do other times, but, just things that I think are easy to implement, but sometimes they can be overlooked, if you're wanting to maybe just eat a little bit more healthier. So, the first one is just slow and steady. I think it could be so easy to just rehash your whole diet and be like, oh, I'm changing, I'm not drinking alcohol, or I'm eating all the fruit and veg and all. No, just, you don't need to do that. Slow and steady. And the next tip kind of leads into that, which is just, instead of denying yourself things, which only makes you want them more, try just adding things first, adding the healthy stuff first, very gradually. So, say for me, I enjoy a pizza. I really do. I get a very nice gluten-free pizza and I put it in the oven. But I don't do the pizza on its own. I will then cook a little bit of veg with it, maybe some crispy kale, and I'll have that on top. And my friends think it's hilarious. And anything like that, I call it pimping it up. I'll get like those noodles you can get like in pots where you just add the hot water, and I'll pimp it up. I'll add some meat into there and some other veg into there. And so you can still have the things that you want, but just make it a little bit healthier. Just add like one more item to it. And then kind of what happens is then you start to really enjoy that. And then before you know it, you don't want to eat the crap food as much. So next one is less condiments. Now condiments, they're sneaky condiments, because you can be like, oh, there's just this tiny amount, but they are so full of fat and sugar. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, so full, a lot of them. And just I can't stress it enough. I mean, I have condiments in my fridge for flipping ages, because I don't eat them that often. So I'm always like, oh yeah, how long's that been in there? It's usually like, oh, I once opened, used within 4 weeks or something. And I'm like, oh, that's been in there quite a few months, which is fine usually. I haven't died yet. Next one is watch your snacks. What are you snacking on? Say I'm a fan of some nuts. I get some mixed nuts or a banana. But there is some nice, healthy sort of bars, but you do need to watch them because I know some of them claim they're healthy, but then when you actually read them, you're like, wow, that's got actually a lot in it. So just read the labels. There are some that are literally like 5 ingredients and they're all like fresh ingredients. And go for them ones. Go for the ones with the smaller amount of ingredients and you're probably good to go. But yeah, what are you snacking on? And we all know about the 5 a day. Yeah, I mean, I don't need to tell you that. I mean, I don't even know when that was implemented. It must have been in my lifetime. But I think I heard once that it is actually, it should be more than that, but they didn't want to say more than that because they thought it would be unattainable. So they said 5. So if you can get those 5 in, and it can be super easy, like I said, you could just literally add one extra thing. If you're having your pasta or whatever in the evening, add a bit of salad. That's it. That's one. Have a snack on a banana. Like and tinned food does count, and frozen food does count, which is great. And my last one is learn about herbs and spices. I mean, I'm not, I don't sort of cook that much adventurous food. I'm not here preaching about my amazing diet, but I learnt enough to be able to cook my own sauces. No, I don't buy a lot of sauces in jars. Like tomato sauce especially is full of sugar. I make my own. I buy the passata or the chopped tomatoes and just make my own. Because I've learned what to add into that to make that a really nice tomato sauce. So just learn about it. It's very basic. I mean, maybe you know this stuff already. Maybe I am just preaching to the choir. But I just wanted to chat about what I do and what I will continue to do. And it's one of those things, I think you're always on this journey because it's something we all have to do every single day, 3 times a day. And I love getting excited about food. I love good food. I make sure I buy really good bread. I love a sourdough, and I have that in the morning. And, everyone thinks I have really fancy breakfasts because I have sourdough with avocado and eggs and sometimes a bit of mackerel. And I'm like, that's basic. That's a standard breakfast for me. But it's also really good because it fills you up. It's really good protein and it fills you up for the morning. And I do find I snack less when I do eat that. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. That can all depend on my level of activity and lots of other things. I think time in the month can affect it too. But yeah, I just love food, and maybe you're the same. So yeah, I love getting excited about it. I literally do the happy food dance when I get food brought to me and I'm tasting it for the first time. If I'm in a restaurant and it's really good, I do the little, oh my God, this is so good. I'm going to do a little food dance. And maybe you do too, because if you do, you're my people. So on that note, I'm going to leave you to your food. Cook an amazing meal. I'm going to cook something literally soon for myself. So enjoy your week, and I'll be back next week with another episode. Hello, and welcome to the 3 joys of the week, which are all based on my little holiday I just had. So the first one is when you finally arrive at the place that you're staying. It's like that moment you can suddenly relax. You're like, I've got here now. Because I find the travelling bit quite stressful. If I'm driving, if I'm going somewhere, I'm like, I've got to be here on time or be there or do that. And, you don't know where you're going or park in. And it's very stressful. So that moment when you arrive, it's bliss. Number 2, just holidaying with a good friend. That friend that just gets you're similar, you want to do the same thing and just chill out, and it's just great. It's just easy. There's no pressure. You just have great chats. You get that chance just to hang out and just do stuff together. And the last one, well, it had to be the good food. I mean, food brings me so much joy. And one of the best things about being away on holiday is getting to sample different foods and just go out for meals every night, and sometimes lunches in different places as well. And just sampling it all. Yes, love it. So I'll speak to you next week. Bye.